Welcome back to segment number 6, the final segment of the Super Bowl 101 pregame show of mine. It's a very special Super Bowl edition of Scott Sports 101, and we're going to preview the game now. We're going to do, but before we do that, I'm going to give you today this segment number 6 trivia question. What product was featured in a 1980 Super Bowl ad starring Mean Joe Green? I have the answer later in this segment. Well, the big day is here, and Super Bowl 58 has arrived. The Chiefs and the 49ers will meet in the final game of the 2023 NFL season tonight, with both teams vying for the right to call themselves champions. The defending champion Chiefs are looking for their third Super Bowl victory of the Patrick Mahomes era. They captured their first Lombardi trophy against these 49ers 4 years ago in Super Bowl 54. But this San Francisco team is a different beast than even that one, excuse me. And is surely looking to exact revenge after watching Kansas City rally for a 31-20 win. And which of these teams will win the Super Bowl in Las Vegas? We'll find out soon enough. But before we break down the matchup, here's a look at how you can watch the game. You can watch it on CBS or Nickelodeon, and you can stream it via Paramount on all platforms, or sign in with your TV provider on CBS.com. Sports apps. Now, as you know, I mentioned Usher is doing the halftime show, and country singer Reba McEntire will be doing the national anthem. When the 49ers have the ball, all right, now the 49ers superpower as an offense is that they can get into a pretty standard personnel grouping and line up in all different sorts of formations with players swapping roles and alignments with relative ease when they have Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, and Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk on the field together. They are technically in 21 personnel, but they can do just about anything, especially if the opponent matches with its base defense. What the Niners want to do more than anything is get you in personnel that matches their formation, then do the opposite of what you expect them. Now, the Chiefs like to match those bigger personnel groupings with their base defense, but they do so with a group of linebackers that have very distinct roles, whether they have Drew Tanquill, an attacking blitzer, or Leo Chanel on a run and hit run defender out there alongside Nick Bolton and Willie Gay Jr., and will tell us a great deal about how they'd prefer the Niners to attack them, as how the Niners respond to that decision. If San Francisco can run it down Kansas City's throat with Tranquil out there and beat the Chiefs with play action out there and beat and passes and attack the immediate and deep middle of the field when Chanel is that will go a long way toward the Niners' ability to move the ball with consistency. Of course, that's not the only pressure point in this matchup. Perhaps the most important battleground will actually be up front, where the Niners have struggled during their two playoff games. Brock Purdy has been under a good deal of pressure during the postseason. 43% of dropbacks, according to True Media, compared with 39% during the regular season. And the 49ers are particularly vulnerable on the right side of the left. That's largely where Chiefs edge rusher George uh, Karlaftis will line up, and if he can give Colton McKivitz trouble off the edge, that could force San Francisco to keep Kittle as a blocker more often than it would probably like. Uh, and then it would probably like John Feliciano has played fairly well next to McKivitz, but will presumably see a whole lot of Chris Jones, who isn't a fun matchup for anybody. The Kansas City secondary is incredibly tough one to beat. Is an incredibly tough one to beat, especially for quarterbacks under frequent dress. The Chiefs finished fourth in opponent EPA dropback this season, per True Media, yielding just 6.0 yards per attempt on 61.2% completion rate. Under us, 61.2 completion rate. They have a very sticky coverage group with first team All Pro Trent McDuffie leading the way along with L'Jarius Sneed. An important thing to watch will be how the Chiefs choose to deploy that duo against Samuel and Ayuk, and whether they are comfortable with using both players against either receiver. So it looks like the Chiefs have preferred matchups. I'd expect 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan to get creative with moving Samuel around the formation so he can avoid that specific look. Then try to get to him the ball quickly for a run after catch opportunities. That if the Chiefs can play things straight up, that might be more of an opportunity for Ayuk to win down the field. When they get in 11 personnel, Jawan Jennings could have a size and strength advantage against KC's sub-package corners. One thing to watch for when they do this, though, it is for the Chiefs to send that player on a blitz and try to force Purdy into a rushed and inaccurate throw. Steve Spranglo loves sending creative pressures, and the Niners love consensed formations, and using players in usual alignments could leave them vulnerable to quick blitzes out of the slot in particular. So, and of course, San Francisco's pass game is about more than just the receivers. McCaffrey is the league's premier catching running back, and Kansas City's linebackers and safeties will have their hands full, limiting him to all facets of the game. And just when they think they've bottled up all the main threats, the Niners will share Kittle or even Juszczyk free for a wheel route or a short crosser, to get them on the move and up the field. There is nowhere on the move up the field and up the field. There is nowhere to hide weak pass defenders, of which the Chiefs thankfully do not have all that many. What they have had throughout the season is a relative weakness against the run, and they finished the year ranked 27th in rush defense, DVDA, and FTN, and they allowed the league's 11th most yards before contact per carry. We know the Niners will run it early and often until your defense proves it can stop the run. And just when you do that, they will hit you with the play action, striking that balance of defending the run while not opening up the middle of the field for those crossing routes and run after uh, catch opportunities is the most important challenge Kansas City's defense will face tonight in this game tonight. Uh, Now, here's when the Chiefs have the ball. Uh, the way Kansas City's offensive line has rounded into shape provides reason for confidence that the Chiefs can move the ball here. Frankly, so does how well the Packers and Lions move the ball against San Francisco at times. They each had stretches of marching up and down the field with relative ease, fueled by runs to uh, 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 the perimeter and largely unpressured dropbacks. The Chiefs have kept Patrick Mahomes more well protected during the playoffs than they did during the regular season, and Mahomes has responded by raising his level of play. The 49ers desperately need to get pressure into Mahomes' uh, face and box into the pocket so he can't create. In other words, they need their defensive line to dominate the proceedings the way the Buccaneers offensive line did in the Kansas City's one Super Bowl loss. The issue with that is the defensive front has not been quite fearsome as their reputations would have you believe. San Francisco finished the regular season in the seventh rate at 40%, according to True Media has seen, but its pressure rate dropped to 37%, and its rate of sacks per pressure plummeted to just 7% during the regular season. That's the major problem uh, against Mahomes, who was both more likely to scramble and be more effective as the scrambler when opponents play zone defense at an unusual trait that works in his favor against San Francisco, which played a zone on 74% of opponent dropbacks this season, good for the ninth highest rate in the league. Mahomes has also proven himself over the past couple of years to be more than willing to take the kind of underneath throws the Niners defense wants opponents to make. His average depth of target was a career low this season. Even during the playoffs, it has remained so. The Chiefs are now much more a YAC based offense than they were during the Tyreek Hill days, with Mahomes targeting Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice closer to the line of scrimmage and allowing them to do work with the ball in their hands. The Niners count on their collective team and spread the athleticism close to close those quick passing lanes and then especially to limit yards after the catch. The latter will be key here. Now, Kelce has upped his game in the postseason, coming through with 23 catches for 262 yards and and uh, and three scores in KC's three games. He even found a great deal of success against the Ravens in the AFC title game, hauling in 11 targets for 116 yards, and a score against Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, and Patrick Queen. He'll have just as a tough challenge on Sunday night, well, tonight, if not a tougher one, when he tangles with Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, along with Tayshawn Gibson and uh, Jair Brown over the middle of the field. If that group can limit Kels in any way and force the Chiefs to funnel their passing game through somebody else, that would dramatically change this side of the matchup. But the Chiefs now have uh, a worthy complementary target alongside Kelsey in Rice. The rookie has 20 catches for 223 yards and a touchdown on his 23 targets this postseason, and he has increasingly earned Mahomes' trust as the season has gone on. He has proven himself able to win both inside and out, while he is still mostly a short area threat to he has won the field on occasion. The 49ers' best comeback cornerback is former Chief Charvicius Ward, but he doesn't go into the slot. It wouldn't be surprising to see Rice there more often than not. Demondor Lenore mans that spot with the Niners are in a nickel, and when he lines up outside, the Chiefs will the Chiefs would do well to try to get him matched up with Ambry Thomas rather than Ward. Uh, the Kansas City artillery receivers aren't targeted all that often and are primarily responsible for creating space for creating space. But we've seen Marquise Valdez Scantling and Justin Watson make plays down the field, and we've seen Andy Reid design plays to get guys like uh, Kadarius Toney and even Sky Moore into open space in plenty of big games, uh, including last year's Super Bowl. I wouldn't put it past Reid to have something creative up his sleeve, something to watch early on. Uh, it's how the Chiefs test the San Francisco run defense and whether the 49ers defenders can hold up and keep contain on uh, keep contain on the outside. If Isaiah Pecco gets rolling and barreling downhill, that suddenly opens things up for Kansas City on early downs and in short yardage situations. If Petco can't get going, and the Chiefs have to ask Mahomes to do everything, that makes defending them quite a bit less complicated a task. Uh, Now, here's the prediction. The Chiefs were not the best team in the NFL for the most of the season. Really, for the majority of the year, they did not look like the team we've gotten so used to them being. But they do have the best player in the league, and they have the advantage. And when the games get close until somebody knocks them off, I'm going to roll with them in a big situation like this one. And he's saying Chiefs 23, 49ers 21. I'm saying Chiefs 28, the 49ers 21. And we'll have a little bit more in just a sec. Right now, it's time to reveal the answer to the segment 6 Super Bowl 101 trivia question. What product was featured in a 1980 Super Bowl ad starring Mean Joe Green? If you said Coca-Cola, you are correct. At Super Bowl 14, Coca-Cola aired an advertisement popularly known as Hey Kid Catch, featuring Pittsburgh Steelers All-Pro defensive lineman Mean Joe Green being offered a Coca-Cola by a young fan and drinking it in one sip, and tossing the kid his game worn jersey as a repayment. And now I have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for this segment and Super Bowl 101, pregame show, a special Super Bowl 101 edition of Scott Sports 101. And I'll be back with the Super Bowl postgame show once the game, Super Bowl 58, the game between the Chiefs and Niners has concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1, I'm done.